The latest projections from the Social Security Trustees Program combined funds may run out in 2034, at which 80% of benefits will be payable. And the fund used to pay retirement benefits may run out even sooner, in 10 years, at which point 77% of benefits will actually be payable as well. And during a Senate hearing, the SSA Chief Secretary stated that Social Security is a pay-as-you-go program, and up to 160 grand in earnings are subject to payroll taxes. In 1983, when major bills were enacted to shore up Social Security trust funds, 90% of uncovered benefits fell below the terrible maximum. And since then, it has remained above that same level. And even the Senate Budget Committee chairman has touted this bill, which is called the Medicare and Social Security Fair Share Act. It would require wages above 400 grand to be taxed for Social Security. Other Democrats also support the idea of making high earners pay a large sum into the program. Representative Larson and the senators introduced the Social Security 2100 Act bill with more than 200 Democratic co-sponsors, calling for applying Social Security payroll taxes to incomes of over 200 grand, while also having the wealthy pay taxes on the businesses and income investments as well. Polls have shown that raising Social Security payroll tax is a popular topic with the public. Yet the recent Senate hearing, some leaders and experts questioned what is the right approach to help people out with their American stimulus cash. But so far, Democrats' proposals would actually push the marginal tax rate to over 50%, and many would break Joe Biden's promise not to raise taxes on anyone making less than 400 grand. Even Grassley argued this. The next cost of living increase for Social Security recipients is projected to be slightly better than previously estimated, but still the lowest in years. The Senior Citizens League predicts that. And also, they have estimated that in mid-June 2024, COLAs could be somewhere around 2.7%, a huge drop-off from 2023's 8.7% increase. And the latest, slightly larger estimate comes despite cooling inflation, which generally has the opposite effect on social asset. And now, in Maine, all recipients of the SNAP program will have their monthly benefits delivered to them by today. SNAP benefits are distributed to eligible residents from the 10th to the 14th of every month, with all beneficiaries scheduled to have their benefits by the month of July by Friday. Now, the next round of SNAP payments will also begin on August 10th. The state of Texas will complete issuing SNAP benefits worth up to $1,700 for a month of July this week. Texas has a long window for issuing payments lasting through the first 10 days of the month. Even the amount received depends on one family size. A single household will receive $281 and an 8-member household will receive $1,700. But on a federal level, some House representatives want to expand the number of food stamp recipients subject to work requirements and time-limited food benefits. By raising the age of people, members are writing the bill against the backdrop of extraordinary uncertainty in the economy and inflation, including the cost of food is so high that the Federal Reserve is willing to risk a recession to slow the prices down. Economic disruptions are caused by the crisis, and the robust labor market is expected to weaken in the months ahead. The past week, Democrats of the Department of Education announced that it will begin discharging student loan debts for borrowers who've been in repayment for 20 to 25 years under a one-time payment. Around 800,000 borrowers will benefit from this, and there will be $39 billion dropped. Joe Biden said the previous announcement is a one-time adjustment and will become an even more important lifeline for struggling borrowers than repayments start in September. The one-time payment adjustment the Education Department had counts certain months that were previously ineligible towards student loan forgiveness. But now, everybody, the Education Department announced a one-time payment adjustment for all direct loans and federally owned family education loans. Now, the adjustment to student loan accounts will go toward helping borrowers get closer to forgiveness under the income-driven plans. And after this adjustment, people should be getting stimulus payments because the one-time payment adjustment helps to reverse some of the damage caused by loan services that did not properly track deferments or steer borrowers to forbearance, instead of income-driven toward repayment payments, which would have continued toward years of payments. Some borrowers in the public service loan forgiveness program have already seen the payment adjustments in their accounts. So we know that's a good
to West Virginia.
We have exciting news, everybody. Joe Biden wants the lawmakers to pursue action on at least another stimulus check before the end of the year. So we have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI and SSDI that you have to know in this video. So continue watching because you don't want to miss out on this video. We got a ton of news to talk about, guys. Here it is. In the State of the Union address that focused largely on the economic shutdown, well, Joe Biden once again called on Congress to revitalize the fourth stimulus payment. This will come back and give us a fourth stimulus check. That's what it means, everybody. We're going to get stimulus today, soon, and probably by the end of this year. because Joe Biden, everybody, said this. He said that he called for a number of changes to tax policy in his State of the Union address, including significantly raising the levy on stock buybacks and imposing a billionaire minimum tax. But the shout out to the expanded child tax credit is more immediately significantly for the average American family than a tax on billionaires. The expanded child tax credit was back in 2021. It helped a lot of people out and to help families with Americans struggling financially. Well, they provided stimulus for a long time. And the maximum benefit of the credit was increased from $2,000 to $3,000 in 2021. That's for people 6 to 17 years old. And half of the credit was given in advance, plus in monthly payments to the families to help others throughout the year, and the other half was given as part of a household's tax refund. The household with pretty much no or low income was able to receive it for the first time. And though it can take years for the policy to have the tangible effects, the impact of the credit was pretty much very noticeable, very fast. And so I believe it's pretty much right for Joe Biden to send out another one. Don't you guys agree? Parents reported using the advance payments for household essentials like groceries, clothing, schools, and utilities. And despite worries from conservatives, researchers found no evidence that the policy discouraged people from going back to work. Instead, it probably motivated people to get back to work. The Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, everybody, said the success of the 2021 expansion showed us that child poverty rates are a policy choice, not inevitable. And Congress failed to renew the expansion in 2021, reverting the credit back to its former, less generous iteration. It's one of the reasons that families could see smaller tax refunds this year when they file their returns, because some tax credits have already implemented their own version of a child tax credit last year to make up for the difference. Still, without this expansion, everybody, millions of people fell back into poverty at the beginning of last year. It made many people broke, and it hurt so many households. But folks, here's a solution to this. One of the biggest sticking points is whether or not the expanded child tax credit has a work requirement attached to it. Because if it does, that could be beneficial to the ones that need it the most, and the ones that need stimulus fast. Opponents believe there should be some sort of work requirement, but everybody, here's what I'm saying about this. An estimated 19 million people do not even receive the standard child tax credit because it maxes out at $2,000 per year per child. And because their parents or guardians don't even enough to qualify, they don't get the money. And eliminating child poverty is one of the biggest reasons why Biden stated his goal for the presidency is to end stimulus and to begin a fourth stimulus check. But as well as other childcare and family-friendly tax policies, it was part of his Build Back Better plan, but was scrapped what eventually became the Inflation Reduction Act, which was signed into law last year. And predictability, everybody, for Joe Biden is important, because support for bringing the expansion back on the Fed level falls largely on his line. Progressive commentators have called it single biggest policy success of Joe Biden. And during his speech, Biden touted the expansion success as giving families breathing room. It did help give families